So yesterday we talked about being able to identify the pulse of music, and we talked about where that pulse repeats itself. And we said that's called a measure or a bar, and the most common number of pulses or beats per measure or per bar is 4. And it's so common, in fact, that we call it common time or just it's in 4. What I did today was I took a drum beat that's in 4, and I sequenced one measure of it out here in GarageBand, and I did each individual component by itself so we can mute things and unmute things and get a really clear sense of where things are expected to fall idiomatically. Now, the reason we're doing all this is that before we start to read rhythms on a piece of paper, it's really important that you know and you're able to feel very clearly where things fall on the beat. If you don't know what it is you're trying to do, then it's really hard to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this drum beat, we're going to sort of examine it, put it under the microscope today. So here's the tempo of the tune. This is just the metronome playing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to put the whole beat in right now just so you can hear everything, and then we'll take all the little individual components apart. Really basic drum beat here. What I want you to be able to do at the end of today is to listen and hear individual components and be able to pick them out. So we're going to listen to just the kick drum in here. Here's the 1, 2, 3, 4. We hear the kick drum comes in every other beat and it lands on 1, 2, 3, 4. It lands on 1 and 3. When we listen to the snare drum, same deal every other beat except for it's not on 1 and 3. It's on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when we listen to the hi-hat is not every other beat, it's 2 to each beat. That presents us with a little bit of a problem. How do we count halves of beats? Halves of beats is 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5. Not really all that convenient for us. So what we're going to do is we're just say and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Check it out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now here's the whole beat again. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. What I want you to be able to do is listen to a drum beat like this and pick out, oh, that's the kick drum. Probably on 1 and 3 because that's idiomatically common for drummers to play. Well, here's the snare drum. It's landing on beats 2 and 4 because that's incredibly common for drummers to play. Oh, and here's the division of the beat. Here's the hi-hat. Of course, there are millions of variations on this drum beat, but what's really important is that when you hear this, you're not confused as to where it begins or where it repeats itself. You understand that those hi-hats are 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You want to make sure you understand where each of these components lands, and you want to make sure that you can isolate them by sort of focusing your ear on them, because later on, of course, we're going to add guitar parts, bass parts. We're going to have other instruments that are playing different rhythms, and it's very important for you to be able to identify where those land inside something that you're listening to, because we want to be able to look at a piece of paper and see a beat that's written out and create that music from it. And you might be able to read it and say, oh, well, this is 1 and 4, but if you don't know what that sounds like, how are you supposed to recreate it? So your mission today is to listen to some music, any music, the music that's on the radio, if you're walking in a store, whatever music is going on in the store, put on some of your favorite songs, and we want you to listen and try to identify the individual components of the drum kit, and be listening for things like snare drums on 2 and 4, kick drums on 1 and 3, the division of the hi-hats where it's got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I want you to get really good at knowing where you're at in the beat. See you tomorrow.